Podcast Talk. Learn English naturally.
Immigration.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Podcast Hub. I'm John.
And I'm Daniela. And today we have a topic that is, for many of our listeners, not just an academic subject or a news story. It's personal, it's lived, it's real.
Today, we're talking about immigration, what it means, how it works, how to talk about it in English, and how to discuss all sides of one of the most debated topics in the modern world.
And here's what makes this episode special. Many of you listening right now are immigrants or children of immigrants or people going through an immigration process yourself. You're living this topic.
Which means you need two kinds of language: the practical vocabulary, visas, permits, applications, status, and the emotional and social vocabulary, identity, belonging, displacement, home.
Because immigration isn't just paperwork. It's one of the most profound human experiences there is. And English has extraordinary language for every dimension of it.
So today we'll cover practical immigration vocabulary, the human experience of migration, the political debate and how to discuss it thoughtfully, idioms and expressions, grammar patterns, and a full action plan.
But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, turn on notifications, and comment below. Let's start with the foundation. What do all the key terms actually mean, and how are they different from each other?
This matters because these words are often used loosely or incorrectly, and in formal contexts, the distinctions are significant.
Immigration, the process of coming to live permanently in a foreign country, the act of moving in.
Emigration, the process of leaving your own country to live in another, the act of moving out. Same event, different perspective. You emigrate from one place and immigrate to another.
Migration, the broader term covering any movement of people from one place to another, including immigration and emigration, also used for seasonal or temporary movement.
Migrant, a person who moves from one place to another, often for work or better living conditions, sometimes temporary, sometimes permanent.
Immigrant, a person who has come to live permanently in a foreign country. The emphasis is on permanence and intention.
Emigrant, a person who has left their home country to live elsewhere, the same person described from the home country's perspective.
Expatriate, often shortened to expat, a person living outside their native country, often temporarily and often for professional reasons. There's a subtle class and race dimension to how expat versus immigrant is used in conversation, worth being aware of.
Refugee, a person forced to leave their home country due to war, persecution, or natural disaster. Crucially, a refugee has no safe option to return. This is a legal status with specific protections under international law.
Asylum seeker, a person who has left their country and is formally requesting legal protection, asylum, in another country. Their refugee status has not yet been officially determined.
Undocumented immigrant, a person living in a country without official legal authorization, also called unauthorized immigrant. The term illegal immigrant is considered dehumanizing by many and is increasingly avoided in careful speech.
Stateless person, someone who is not recognized as a citizen by any country. Approximately 10 million people in the world are stateless, a deeply precarious legal and human condition.
Now, Category 2, the legal and administrative vocabulary of immigration.
Visa, official permission to enter, stay in, or leave a country for a specific purpose and time period. There are many types.
Tourist visa, student visa, work visa, transit visa, family reunification visa, each has different requirements, rights, and limitations.
Residence permit, official authorization to live in a country for an extended period, different from a visa, usually longer term and comes with more rights.
Permanent residency, the right to live in a country indefinitely without being a citizen, often called a green card in the United States.
Naturalization, the legal process by which a foreign national becomes a citizen of a country. Usually requires residency for a set number of years, language tests, civic knowledge tests, and other requirements.
Citizenship, full legal membership in a country, the right to vote, hold certain jobs, carry a passport, and claim the full protection of that country's laws.
Dual citizenship, holding citizenship in two countries simultaneously. Not all countries permit this.
Deportation, the forced removal of a person from a country, usually for violating immigration laws or criminal offenses.
Detention, holding a person in custody during immigration proceedings. Immigration detention is highly controversial.
Border control, the systems and officials managing who enters and exits a country.
Points-based system, an immigration system that assesses applicants based on factors like education, work experience, and language skills, used in the UK, Canada, and Australia.
Family reunification, immigration provisions that allow citizens or residents to bring close family members to join them.
Integration, the process of a newcomer becoming part of the host society, learning the language, understanding the culture, building connections.
Assimilation, a more complete absorption into the host culture, often implying loss of original cultural identity, more contested as a concept than integration.
Category 3, the human experience of immigration, the vocabulary of what it feels like.
This is the vocabulary that matters most for real conversation, because immigration is not primarily a policy debate, it is a human experience.
Displacement, being forced or compelled to leave your home, community, or country, the loss of a place you belong.
Uprooting, a powerful metaphor. To be uprooted is to be torn from the place where your roots are, your family, your language, your culture, your familiar world. The uprooting that comes with immigration can take years to process.
Starting from scratch, beginning again with nothing, building a life from zero in a new place. She arrived with one suitcase and had to start from scratch.
Finding your footing, slowly establishing yourself, gaining stability in a new country. It took about 2 years before I really found my footing here.
Culture shock, the disorientation and distress that comes from encountering an unfamiliar culture. The unwritten rules are different, the social cues are different. What's polite and what's rude is different.
Reverse culture shock, the disorientation of returning to your home country after a long time away. It surprises many people. You've changed, but also expected home to stay the same.
Homesickness, the longing for home, for familiar places, people, food, language, smells. The homesickness hit hardest in the first winter.
Nostalgia, a bittersweet longing for the past, similar to homesickness, but with a softer, more reflective quality.
Belonging, the feeling of being part of something, of being accepted and at home somewhere, one of the deepest human needs. I've lived here for 8 years, and I still wonder where I truly belong.
In between, the identity experience of someone who belongs fully to neither their country of origin nor their adopted country. She feels permanently in between, too foreign at home, too foreign here.
Third culture kid, a person who grew up in a culture different from their parents' culture, often multilingual, often with a complex sense of identity and belonging.
The immigrant experience, the broad shared journey of leaving one world and building yourself in another. It is both universal in its shape and completely individual in its details.
To make a new life, to build a life from the ground up in a new country. She came here 20 years ago and made an entirely new life.
To put down roots, to establish deep connections to a place, property, friendships, community, memories. It took 10 years, but I finally put down roots here.
To straddle two worlds, to live with one foot in your culture of origin and one foot in your adopted culture, neither fully one nor the other, but both. She straddles two worlds and has learned to see that as a gift rather than a burden.
Identity, who you are, how you see yourself, how others see you. Immigration profoundly challenges and reshapes identity.
Hyphenated identity, an identity that combines two cultures, Italian-American, British-Nigerian, Korean-Australian. The hyphen is the bridge between two worlds.
Category 4. The political debate vocabulary. Because immigration is one of the most contested political topics globally.
We're going to give you language for both sides of this debate, not because all positions are equally valid, but because understanding the full conversation and being able to engage with it is what fluency requires.
Pro-immigration arguments and their vocabulary. Economic contribution, labor shortage, demographic dividend, cultural enrichment, brain gain, diversity, humanitarian obligation, human rights.
Brain gain is the economic and intellectual benefit a country receives from attracting skilled immigrants, the opposite of brain drain, losing talented people to emigration.
Demographic dividend, the economic benefit of having a large working-age population. Many Western countries with aging populations rely on immigration to maintain this balance.
Humanitarian obligation, the moral duty to protect people fleeing persecution or disaster, based in international law, specifically the 1951 Refugee Convention.
Concerns about immigration and their vocabulary. Border security, national sovereignty, social cohesion, strain on public services, integration challenges, rule of law, managed migration.
Social cohesion, the degree to which a society is unified, trusting, and shares common values. Some argue that rapid immigration can create social tension if not managed carefully.
Managed migration, the idea that immigration should be controlled, selective, and planned rather than open or unregulated.
Neutral analytical terms: immigration policy, migration flows, net migration, push factors, pull factors.
Push factors, the conditions in a country of origin that drive people to leave. War, poverty, persecution, lack of opportunity, climate change.
Pull factors, the conditions in a destination country that attract immigrants. Economic opportunity, political stability, family connections, quality of life.
Net migration, the difference between the number of people immigrating to a country and the number emigrating, a key statistic in political debate.
Now let's talk about language to use and language to avoid, because word choice in this topic is deeply political and ethical.
Undocumented immigrant or unauthorized immigrant, preferred over illegal immigrant. A person cannot be illegal, an action or status can be. This distinction matters.
Refugee has a specific legal meaning, a person recognized under international law as fleeing persecution. Using it loosely for any immigrant can dilute its meaning and its protections.
Migrant crisis versus refugee crisis. These frame the same situation very differently. Migrant implies choice and economic motivation. Refugee implies flight from danger. The words carry political weight.
Being aware of this doesn't mean you can't use these words. It means you use them with understanding.
Now let's go through grammar patterns for discussing immigration.
Pattern 1. Immigration has shaped, for describing impact and influence.
Immigration has shaped the cultural identity of this city more than any other single factor. Immigration has shaped who I am in ways I'm still discovering.
She came here 12 years ago with almost nothing, and since then I've built a career, a family, and a community. She came here as a child, and since then has known no other home.
The decision to leave was for describing the complexity of the choice to immigrate. The decision to leave was the hardest of my life. The decision to leave wasn't really a decision, it was a necessity.
On one hand, on the other hand, for balanced discussion of immigration policy.
On one hand, open borders would alleviate enormous human suffering. On the other hand, no government has yet found a sustainable framework for truly open migration.
What people don't always understand about immigration is that leaving your country is almost never easy or casual. It is usually an act of courage or desperation or both.
Living between two cultures has, for describing the bicultural experience. Living between two cultures has given me a perspective I wouldn't trade for anything, though it has also given me a loneliness that's hard to explain.
Now let's go through the idioms and expressions for this topic.
To seek greener pastures, to leave for somewhere with better opportunities.
His grandparents came here seeking greener pastures and never looked back.
To put down roots, to establish yourself deeply in a new place. Already mentioned, but worth repeating. It's used constantly.
To start a new chapter, to begin a significantly different phase of life. Moving to a new country was the start of an entirely new chapter.
A fish out of water. Someone who is uncomfortable or out of place in their environment. For the first year, I felt like a complete fish out of water.
To find your feet, to become comfortable and competent in a new situation. It took her about 18 months to really find her feet.
Home away from home. A place in a foreign country that feels comfortable and familiar. The local community center became a real home away from home for us.
To bridge two worlds, to connect two cultures, to exist meaningfully in both. She spent her whole career bridging two worlds.
To be caught between two worlds, a more difficult version. To feel you belong fully to neither.
To make the most of it. To extract maximum value and opportunity from a situation, including a difficult one. She arrived not knowing a soul, but she made the most of every opportunity.
To open doors, to create new opportunities. A second language opens doors that are invisible to everyone else.
The long arm of home. Informal but evocative. The way your home country reaches you even when you're far away, through food, music, language, family phone calls, the news from back home.
To carry something with you. To bring aspects of your identity, culture, or past into a new life. She carried her grandmother's recipes with her everywhere she went.
Now let's do our demonstration. Daniela, the basic version first.
I am an immigrant. I came to this country 5 years ago. It was difficult at first. Now my life is better. I miss my home country sometimes.
Now the upgrade. I've been living here for 5 years now. And if I'm honest, it's been the most disorienting and the most growth-filled period of my life, both at the same time. I came here seeking opportunity, but I had completely underestimated the uprooting that comes with leaving everything familiar behind. The first year was brutal. Culture shock, homesickness, the exhaustion of doing everything in a second language, the loneliness of having no community yet. I felt like a fish completely out of water. But slowly, and it is slow, you start to find your footing. You put down small roots. You find your home away from home. And you start to understand that living between two cultures, while genuinely hard, also gives you something rare. The ability to see both worlds more clearly than those who've only ever lived in one. I still miss home. I think I always will. But I've also come to understand that home is something you can carry with you. It's not only a place.
That is extraordinary, and it's honest in a way that only personal experience can be.
Let's note what was used. Disorienting and growth-filled, underestimated the uprooting, culture shock, exhaustion of doing everything in a second language, fish completely out of water, find your footing, put down small roots, home away from home, living between two cultures, carry with you.
And that final line, home is something you can carry with you. It's not only a place. That is the kind of sentence that takes a language and makes it yours.
Now, let's build the action plan.
Day 1. Learn and distinguish the core terms. Immigrant, emigrant, refugee, asylum seeker, migrant, expat, undocumented immigrant. Write a clear definition in your own words for each. The distinctions matter.
Day 2. Learn the practical vocabulary, visa types, residency, naturalization, deportation, integration. Write sentences that connect these terms to real situations you know about.
Day 3. Practice the human experience vocabulary. Uprooting, displacement, finding your footing, straddle two worlds, hyphenated identity. Write a paragraph using at least 6 of these about your own experience or someone you know.
Day 4. Practice the grammar patterns. Write 2 sentences for each pattern, both a personal version and a more general, analytical version. This prepares you for both personal conversation and formal discussion.
Day 5. Find an English article, podcast, or documentary about immigration. Note every term, expression, and structure you recognize from today. How is the framing of the topic? What vocabulary does the source use? And what does that tell you about its perspective?
Ongoing. If immigration is part of your own life, use this vocabulary to articulate your experience. Journal in English about it. Talk about it with others. The act of naming your experience in another language is itself a form of integration.
And ongoing, when you hear immigration discussed in English, in news, in conversation, in film, notice the vocabulary choices. Who calls someone an undocumented immigrant and who calls them illegal? The language is always telling you something.
Let's close with our key takeaways.
Key point 1. The core terms, immigrant, refugee, asylum seeker, migrant, have specific meanings. Using them precisely signals education and respect.
Key point 2. The practical vocabulary of immigration, visas, permits, naturalization, deportation, is essential for navigating and discussing real processes.
Key point 3. The human vocabulary, uprooting, displacement, finding your footing, straddle two worlds, belonging, straddle two worlds, is where the real conversation lives.
Key point 4. Immigration is a political debate. Being able to articulate multiple perspectives with their specific vocabulary is a mark of high fluency.
Key point 5. Word choice is political. Undocumented versus illegal. Refugee versus economic migrant. Know the difference and choose with awareness.
Key point 6. Grammar patterns for personal narrative and balanced analysis. I came here and since then, on one hand, on the other hand, are essential tools for this topic.
And key point 7. If this is your story, tell it. In English, in full, with all its complexity. Your experience is not a vocabulary exercise, but vocabulary can help you honor it.
Thank you so much for joining us on English Podcast Hub today. Immigration is one of the defining stories of our time, and many of you are living it.
We hope today gave you not just words, but a sense that your experience, however complex, however in between, is fully expressible in this language.
Subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone on their own immigration journey.
Until next time, wherever you are in the world, keep speaking, keep growing, and keep going.
Take care, everyone.